proudest day, and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears, the Rally Podcast, the 2025 season. I suppose before we start, can we please like, share, rate, subscribe? But Conor, great week just passed there for Irish Rally, and once again, great results in Rally Finland. More of that we'll talk about shortly. But we also talk about Dacia Sandero Challenge Cup this week as well.
Yeah, we had a great chat, which we'll get to in a little while. But we caught up with Declan O'Keeffe, Carrie Ryan, Denis Ferry, Elva and Oscar Mangan. And it was brilliant just to hear what's been going on behind the scenes with the Dacia Challenge Cup and how it came about as well.
Yeah, I think that hopefully people will find that very interesting. We definitely enjoyed the chat. But Rally Finland last weekend, dare I say, probably as good a result as we could have dared to dream for.
Look, amazing in many different ways. Like, you know, if you want to take the lead, top end, the leaderboard, like for Aaron and Taka to come in second overall, what a fantastic result! Did brilliantly. Josh McErlane, really strong, solid run out again. First of the M Sport lads home, you know, fantastic for him. And then, you know, Junior WRC winners like Eamonn and Conor. Like, was so delighted for the two of them.
That's for sure. Yeah, like it was like a fantastic rally. Full stop. Like the fastest rally there's been average speed wise. You know, like, and that's been common this last couple of years. And that was in mixed conditions as well. What would that have been like if that would have been a completely dry rally? It's unbelievable.
Yeah, look, it was fantastic rally to watch on Rally TV and to follow it. Just incredible the speeds, and as you say, you know, in some interesting conditions and mixed conditions throughout both the Friday and the Saturday. And then Sunday, to cap Sunday off with 2 runs of Oinapoya. Like, oh my goodness.
Yes, and as you say, then the one by Conor and Eamonn, unbelievable, fantastic to see. Like we've been witnessing the work they're putting in, and we've talked to the guys, and they just sometimes don't get the rub of the green. It's great to see it all come together for them.
Yeah, look, fantastic. Genuinely, you know, it's not the easiest rally to go to. All the local experts that are there, as well as that JWRC class is so competitive, and you have like the Taylor Gill who's leading it at the moment. You know, he moved to Finland to build his experience. He's living, you know, just a couple of mile away from Oinapoya. Like, he's building up his local knowledge there, and to go up and compete against the likes of that, as well as the other competitors, are like just an amazing result from Eamonn Conor.
That's for sure, yeah. So I suppose there's not much point in us telling you much more about it. We spoke to Eamonn and Conor and got their reactions to it.
Eamon Conor, you're very welcome, and firstly, congratulations, a fantastic win in Finland.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us as always. It's been a while since we were on here, which is usually not a good sign.
And coming out of Greece and preparing for Finland, what was the plan, or what were the thoughts? We know you like a good plan, Eamon, so what was it you had in mind for Finland?
I think I was just excited to get back onto proper rally roads. We'd come off the back of 2 rough rallies in Portugal and Greece, and it was the type of events where I guess luck did play a role, and we fell on the wrong side of that in both events through punctures and other mechanical issues. And I was just looking forward to getting back and enjoying going fast without concern of breaking the car. And I guess just going in with that mindset. And I didn't really think we'd done anything differently. We didn't approach it any differently, which was a concern of my own coming into the event, because I was starting to go, what do I need to do differently here? And is there something I'm not doing? Because I do so much prep. Conor does so much prep. Like, we do so much for all of these events, and you know, sometimes the events, the results don't come and it doesn't go the way you want. But then you question, are you doing the right type of prep and everything? But no, we stuck stuck to the usual plan and prepped all the notes, and I done plenty on the sim on fast gravel roads, and we organised obviously a test out there and a test rally, and which is again no different to most events we do. And just again believe that don't give up and keep believing that we are doing the right things. So that was the initial plan.
Because Conor, that test event that you done out in Finland the previous week was a fantastic run for you. You know, you were up there mixing it, and I think 0.2 or 0.3 off the one. You just had to come away from that very, very happy with. What's the plan?
Yeah, we had done that rally last year, and we knew that it helped us last year, and we said we'll go back to it this year, and it's so easy. Like, it's the weekend before, you're coming off fresh out of it, and it's just one of them ones that there's no pressure in, and it's a very compact wee rally, and it always works well. And we had a good run. Like, it was a good race again, Ali, and it just we got as much out of it as we possibly could.
Mm-hmm. And I suppose when you're competing against somebody, you're competing at the JWRC level 2. It's a fair comparison. You're not competing against locals or somebody you're not going to be racing come the following weekend.
Yeah, well, it was good to be racing again, Ali, but like there's a lot of Finnish drivers there in Rally 3s and Clios and that very, very fast as well. Like, and I think they were sort of a wee bit shocked at like us coming in to them and really showing them up on the stages, like out on their own backyards. Like, so it was nice that we were able to do that, and that's what it made it that wee bit sweeter. Like.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And even we spoke before about the Rally 3. Like, in Finland, we kind of always think when we see the videos of these madmen and these homebred cars. No, but the Rally 3 is quite a big car over there too.
It is, yeah. Don't get me wrong, them madmen still exist. The M's and Astras, and they go bloody hard too. It's class, but I guess the gravel is the main surface out there. They don't really have any tarmac rallies, so four-wheel drive is a huge benefit, and it's an important thing for the Finns to learn at a young age, hence the draw on the Rally 3. And you've got like lads that are 17, 18 driving Rally 3s. It's a very popular class. When I did the Arctic Rally, I think I mentioned it before, there was 30 Rally 3s in the class. That was awesome. It's great racing, and as Conor said, like we did that HYA rally the weekend before, and there was still a solid like maybe 7 or 8 Rally 3s, and all the top young Finn drivers as well, who are very, very quick, and we know we're quick. So when you go out racing in Finland at the national level, the competition's still really, really strong, and it's class. It's a great place to hone your speed on gravel and in a Rally 3 as well.
Mm-hmm. And then Conor, come on in.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I suppose maybe looking at Finland, Eamonn, you great stage time on the Open Super Special on the Thursday night, but a bit of a heart in the mouth moment at the end of it.
Oh yeah, it was like a really good run through the stage. We knew most of the stage, bar the new section that they'd added in, so felt comfortable on it, and we had a good run on it last year. And it's always important to start the stage off on a positive note, or start the rally off on a positive note, So went in with just pure grit and go for it. And it was like that, until the last corner. It was just a little bit too fast and a little bit too optimistic on the handbrake input, I think, and the back stepped out of me and just clattered the bollard before the finish. And I wouldn't say, I don't think it cost me too much time, maybe half a second or something. And but it cost me a toe link or toe arm, and we were crabbing the whole way back to service, and only had 15 minutes in service to get it changed, which was the kind of scary part, because that would have put us out really early, Thankfully, the damage wasn't too bad, that it was, the boys were able to get it fixed in 10 minutes or so, and they're great. Like, you can rely on M4 Poland for stuff like that. They fixed the gearbox in 15 minutes for us in Greece 2 years ago, so I was quite confident that they were going to fix this, to be fair. But still, it's not ideal. But you know what? We had a good run, and we were kind of more focused on that than the whole fixing the rear of the car was up to the team. We just were focused on the fact that we had a good run and trying to focus on having a good run on the first stage on Friday morning. So yeah, it's good when a team gives you confidence like that.
And Conor, the nature of the finish stages, they're quick, they're fast. From your point of view, on your side of the car, is there a little less work for you to do with calling in the notes, or is it more just getting into a rhythm and they just come out, or is it just as like any other rally, with the amount of work you have to do?
Yeah, well, it was nice going back. Like that was our third year there, so like definitely you more of an idea of what goes on and where everything is, and that, and it does definitely help. But for the stages and that, I always just do the same prep as what I normally would always do. The calling of the notes is definitely a different to anywhere else where you were calling notes. Like you have to be a nice bit ahead and be just thinking of what Eamonn's thinking, really, of where he has to know where he has to be on the road, because the speed's that high that coming out over a crest, he needs to know exactly where he needs to be on that crest to get the next corner and for to get as much out of the next corner and to carry your speed. So it definitely is different to any other, like it's nothing like Portugal or Greece or that there. Like it's or rallying in Ireland here, like it's completely different, but it's a lot of concentration needed now, and it's big speeds. Like you need to be on the ball, like, and the driver and co-driver both needs to be in sync for it to work. Like,
and for the notes on those high speed events, is there any less detail in them, or is it roughly the same?
no, it's more or less the same. Like Eamon has his own sort of note sequence and what way he likes them and how he grades his corners and how he measures the distance of his corners. So his notes are very detailed, but they're very they're detailed in a way they're simplified as well. Like that, it's as much information as he would had needs and not a load of unnecessary stuff.
And Eamon, mixed conditions over the weekend, spells of rain and then, extremely dry on some stages. With not maybe having as much, I know you've been there before, but maybe with not having that, regular local experience, is it hard to get the right setup?
I think it's just getting a setup that works for you individually. I wouldn't say there's a Finland setup. Maybe there is, but I don't know.
They haven't told you it.
I don't know. When we went testing, it was a case of finding what worked for us, and we were lucky that we worked with a good team in RTE too. That they have a good engineer there that was fit to just kind of take my feedback and work off that and give me suggestions off that. And honestly, we weren't long finding a feeling that worked. And he sat in with me for a few runs, and he was able to gauge kind of what was happening in the car too. And honestly, the feeling in the car from the first couple of runs on the test was really, really good and positive. So when you start off like that, you're never far away. You're always in the window, and we didn't have too much work to do. But like I said, it was a setup that worked for me, and I'd say probably was different to most other people's, because we have engineers obviously in the M Sport Poland team, and when you send them your setup for the rally, they'll obviously be able to, even though we don't know other people's setups, and they won't tell you, and most of the time you don't really want to know anyway. But obviously the engineers will know how different or similar yours is to everyone else or their base setup. And I think mine was different because they said to me, oh, you're the only person using this, and are you sure about that? And I was sure. I just said, yeah, look, that's just, I feel comfortable in the car. And they said, are you sure? Are you really sure? I said, yes. And, you do have to be comfortable. You're the one driving, so, you can't tell, someone else can't tell you what the correct setup is. You just have to feel it yourself and feel whatever works. And we'd done that rally the week before. Proof was in the pudding that it worked. And that like I said, feeling was good. We were always in the window, and we knew that the speed was there from the work road. So no, we were lucky. It's always nice when you set off like that, because it can be the other way sometimes too, where you spend ages trying to get the car to work for you and spend full day trying different things and confusing yourself and frying your brain, and you come out of it with something and you're not sure and you're saying maybe it could be better like this, and but no, it wasn't the case, thankfully.
And Eamon, you know, like it was the fastest ever Rally Finland. You know, Roving Pera set the fastest average speed. Did you feel it? That's your third time over there. Did you feel it was the layout was conducive to it? Did you feel it was a lot faster this year yourselves too?
Yeah, it's strange. I did say it in the recce. Like I come off some stages when I was recce, and I was like, it's not. Is it just me, or does that feel quicker? Like I was looking at the angle of my steering wheel on some corners compared to the notes I'd written last year, and I was like, that's faster. Like, and we were making stuff faster. And then I said after the first pass in some stages, like there was probably 4 or 5 corners in each stage where I was going, no, there's still more in that. Like, and just not even due to my commitment, it was the way I'd written the pace note. And our stage times also, like we were going like 15, 16 seconds quicker on some stages than last year. And yeah, okay, my commitment was probably higher marginally than last year. But everybody was going quicker. It wasn't just us. So yeah, it was strange. Like obviously the roads haven't changed. So it's hard to know what the difference is, whether the surface is more compact or something. I don't know. They say that when it rains out there, it does make the surface more compact. And if you're racing on it after it's rained, you know, the week before, but it's dried out, it becomes a harder base. So it could have something to do with that. But yeah, it was fast, and it definitely felt fast from the car.
And Conor, is that something that you can pick up on as well too? That you know, you had a book of notes from the previous year, and there was like a lot of the stages would have been the same. Was there changes made, and you're like kind of, this worked last year, why are we doing this kind of thing?
Well, there was, yeah, but whenever we sat down and looked at it in the DVD, we were like, no, definitely, like this needs to be quicker. And there was notes that we were afraid to change, but we just said no, we'll just leave them. And then when we had our first pass done in the stage, like, and we were like, no, there's more in that, there's more in that, there's more in that, and there was notes like that, but yeah, no, they definitely were faster. And it was easy to be seen in places like from during the recce, like.
Yeah. And even this year, the JWRC, like there's 10, 12 competitors there now too. Like there's a larger field, and there's a lot more guys there feeling that they're going to win. Do you feel it's pushing you on now too as a driver too, the increased level of commitment and level of competitor?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's so fast this year, and there's always like 4 or 5 different guys who could win a stage, and like everyone's going for it. Like no one has anything to lose, and you know you're coming through. Like there was that stage on Saturday morning in Pajala, just shy of 21k. And there's 0.8 of a second between the top 4 over 21 kilometers. Like you know, it was mental racing, and pushing everywhere, and you know there's 1 or 2 corners. Yeah, I could have got more out of that, and that's the difference. Funny story, actually, that stage I should have won it because we were green on, I think, a large amount of the splits, and we came around this corner, and there was this guy in a white Stables polo top, sort of half on the road, cheering with his arms out. And I panicked because I thought someone was
flagging you out.
And I counter steered out, lost all my momentum, and nearly had to drop down a gear to get going again. And I dropped 1.2 in that split, and we were 0.6, I think, 0.6 or 0.8 off the fastest time. And I was raging, but it was Ari.
You forgive him?
So, you know, I held back. It had it been anyone else, there would have been probably. When I found out it was Ari, I was just like, all right, that's okay. But yeah, I mean, if we'd lost to the rally by 1.2 seconds or something, I would have been raging. But, maybe we lost the stage win, but I'll take it, you know. I was not cheering for me, so I don't think many people can say
Very
that.
cool. Yes.
And with Ari being there, like, did he have any advice or words of wisdom to offer? You know, it's obviously with his local knowledge.
Ari's a legend. Like he's so good to me. Like he'll ring me after a lot of events to ask how it's gone, and he's genuinely interested. Obviously, we've known him for a while now, and he knows that I've been doing this championship, and he's taken a genuine interest, as he does with everyone, and whatever they're doing in life. But he is, he's got a genuine interest, and he'll ring me and he'll ask, and he obviously has done all these World Rally events himself, albeit they've probably been very different when he done them, but he will offer his advice, and with Finland especially, he was following that HYA rally that we did, and he rang me after, and he was talking about the courage that you need, because he knew the stages we were doing. He said, you need so much courage on these stages, and that's what you need. And he told me, it's good that you didn't win that rally. It's good you only lost by 0.2 or whatever. He says, because now you have the hunger going into next week. You have the hunger, and you have to use that now to prove that you are that bit faster. You know it. And he was right. Like, he was dead right. We came out of that rally and we did want to go keep racing and prove that, no, we were going to come out on top here. But yeah, Ari's a legend. And Max, his son, was very, very helpful to me too. Max has done this rally. He won the juniors in 2016, I believe, in Finland as well. And I'd asked him, I'd sent him my onboard from last year. I said, will you look at some of this and give me feedback on it? And I think we spent 3.5 hours on Zoom a couple of weeks before the rally, going through all the stages that he knew corner by corner. And he was telling me where there was more, and, even not just where there was more commitment, but where there was a different style of driving needed and how I could get more out of my driving and my inputs. And he spent so much time doing that, just out of his own time. And it was really good of him. But honestly, it really, really helped me. And they are all the wee things that make the difference. And yeah, so we did, despite costing me 1.2 seconds, I think gained a lot more. So yeah, they've been a huge help.
And Conor, from your own point of view, it's great for you're getting that kind of feedback from the driver's perspective. But is anybody from the co-driver's perspective can give you those finish insights?
Not really, to be honest. I never really went looking. I sort of just keep myself. And if anybody says anything to me or if I have any issues, I will go ask him. But no, I would always just go with whatever Eamonn be saying or whatever he hears, and just go with whatever he has.
And you mentioned about I suppose when you went over the first pass of the stages, there was room maybe there for improvement on the next pass. So are you making adjustments as you go through that first pass, or is it in between when you're maybe looking at the in-car before the second pass?
No, usually if we're going through the stage, Eamonn would either say more, or I would say there's more in it. And there was one note in particular I said there was a wee bit more, and definitely the second time, I think Eamonn put it up on his Instagram. There was a video, an in-car of us, and he definitely gave it more the second time. We were very lucky. We were very lucky that we actually got around the corner, to be honest. And I think he just went a wee bit too much on it, but we got around it.
When you're on the limiter and you touch the brakes and nothing happens, it's like, oh shit. It was like having no brakes, and just the handbrake was the only option, and put it in backwards at like whatever speed. So, but honestly, it happened a few times that weekend. And yeah, that's the buzz of it all. So fine margins between where there's more and where there's less. But,
and then going into the Sunday morning, you have 20 seconds of a lead, 21, 22 seconds of a lead, 2 stages to go. Is it like, is there a change of mindset that you have to kind of drive with that thought in the head that, it's ours to throw it away, or do you have to just kind of blank all that out and just drive as you normally drive?
Yeah, it's really difficult. You do definitely have to blank it out and just drive as you normally drive. Now, Onamboya is obviously such a unique stage. It's so fast, and the requirement of driving Onamboya is to be flat out. There's not really any such thing as trying to be careful over Onamboya, because you will drop 20 seconds easily. Like that's the reality. We had that buffer. We knew it would take with 30 to Taylor. We knew he would be more of a threat because he's living in Finland and local to that area. So it's kind of nearly like racing Duggan on the gap sort of vibe. He knows every inch of it, and he was going for it, and he certainly has nothing to lose. So yeah, we knew we had to be fast, but the notes were good, and we knew if we drove to them that the time wouldn't be too bad. It's funny, like I did try to be fast and flat out to the notes, but when you're not actually chasing, it's like that final 5% doesn't come naturally, you know, that final 5% of risk. So I did just manage it. And I just let the notes do the work and the driving do the work, and it was enough. You know, I wasn't in need to push to go and get a stage win. We just wanted to get the job done. So yeah, just drove to the notes both times. He took 11 out of us in the first pass, so we knew it was going to be way harder for him to try and take even more the second time. So he did take a fair chunk, but like again, like, we were managing the whole thing and we were confident enough that we would get the job done. So it was yeah, different way to approach Olympia, I suppose, but we did the right thing, and like yeah, we were able to have driven at the top pace all weekend. We knew we'd have no bother doing it on Sunday, and yeah, no, it didn't stop the nerves. I personally shit myself. And I think the gang waiting at the end of the stage were even worse. There was a couple of Fitbits saying, you know, please go and see a doctor. And I think we were putting everyone slowly into cardiac arrest, but yeah, it was class to cross that finish line and see the gang of people there. And even though obviously you have to wait until your competitor crosses the line before you start celebrating, but we knew we'd done it. Like, and it was magic. Just a moment that we've been dreaming of for a long time. And yeah, just doing it in Finland felt so special at the end of such a legendary stage with so much home support around you. Yeah, it was just so cool, and definitely a moment I've envisioned in my head for a long time. So to live it out was so sweet.
Conor, from your own point of view too, coming up, calling the last couple of notes coming into the finish control into that stage, is it like, holy shit, what have we just done here?
Yeah, it sort of was, but I just sort of kept my concentration, and just when I knew when we got to the hairpin, we were the finish was in sight, like, and I was just sort of relaxed and just kept calling till I got over the line, and then we took it all in then when we had to wait just. But it was it was definitely special, and especially with all the support we had at the finish line, it was definitely very, very good now.
Because you were lucky, you had your family and a lot of your friends there and all too. Like that, it's cool to won the event, but to have it there in front of so many people, it meant so much to you.
Yeah, absolutely. It was brilliant to have them all out, and especially whenever we got the result of the victory, like. But even the amount of other Irish people that was out there, like the stages, like every second or third corner you went round, there was an Irish flag hanging out of the heads. Like, it was unbelievable. Like, it was the amount of Irish support out there, and over the weekend was just class. Like, it was great to see. Like, and the amount of people in service calling over to see and to chat, like, was just really, really good. Like,
I can see them in the WRC. It's really capturing the imagination of the Irish people at the minute, and like hopefully we'll get around at some point here in the near future. But like every round seems to be, no matter where you go, there's the amount of Irish support that's out on the stages is unreal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we love rallying in Ireland, and we love speed. So I mean, these WRC events are such great spectacles, and genuine rally fans here that want to travel and see it. And yeah, wouldn't it be great if they didn't have to travel and they could have this circus come to their own shores once a year, which I think is thoroughly deserved, because they are such a presence at all the other world events. And yeah, you feel that as a driver on the stages. Conor said it's magic, and it's great. You're coming out over jumps and you see the flags being waved, and it just adds that final bit, that final bit to the puzzle. It just feels class. And you really appreciate the presence of everyone in service, and you come in, and there's a crowd around your bay at the car. That's really cool. And even myself, I'm usually pretty quiet when I'm in service, and I wouldn't be the most social. Like, I want to just go and get my head down and sort of focus on what I'm doing. But I still appreciate, like, to the moon, like, the amount of people that are around the car and are there. It's amazing. So you certainly don't expect it when you come in. But yeah, it would definitely be cool if they were able to experience it again on home shores.
Yeah, and like your biggest supporter, the man that's been there with you from day one on the wee course around Ockidui. Like for him to see you roll over that finish line, it must give him immense pride as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the other rally we won in Croatia in 23 wasn't there, so he's been at all the ones where it's got where it's got actually. So he's been on all the quiet flights home, but yeah, that was definitely special. And yeah, just again, like me and him went out to Finland years ago on a trip to go out and see Harry and do some ice driving and stuff like that. And yeah, it's kind of where that whole international driving thing started for me. And to experience that there with him was class. Yeah, look, it doesn't need too much explaining. It just is magic, and it's what you work towards. It's what you put all the effort and time and everything into. And, that feeling and that emotion at the end is what makes it all worth it for all of us that were there that experienced it. So yeah, it's just absolute magic.
And we should mention, like we've said it before and we'll say it again, every rally team needs a Wally McVitie.
Yeah. Well, he was on a strong form this weekend. He was team principal, but yeah, well, he was great. He was keeping the whole thing going. Sharp as always. He was always thinking, always there for everything that we needed him to be there for and doing his job, but as well as just being great company. And even in service, silly things like leaving Willie to man the service bay and look over everything, and nearly every team has someone like Willie managing them and managing things, and everyone's checking to see who's doing what. And Willie certainly was the best at playing mind games all weekend. He had all the other team managers wound up to the nines. With how many spares were you taking or what were you doing? And everyone, I think he had so wound up that it frustrated the hell out of them. And yeah, that was great. You could just trust him to go and do that while you're not focusing on your own job. And yeah, but he obviously he loved every bit of it. So, and he was in great form on Saturday night. That one of the M Sport guys said to me, he says, Willie knew the rally was won on Saturday night. But he was just on cloud nine. So, but it's class because look, he's been there from day one in that championship too. He's seen all the bad results, and he's been the first person to see me and Conor on the side of a road whenever we've broken down or gone off. And he's the one who's had to deal with us and see the emotion, and so to see it the opposite way this weekend meant the world to him. And it's every bit his victory as well as ours. And same with Sean Hassett there. He's been on the team since last year and doing a great job, and doing a great job of documenting Willie as well for the world, which is commendable. But it was great. We all just enjoyed it as a team. It was fantastic, and the four of us, it was special for the four of us.
Yeah, because Conor, yes, rallying's very serious, and that you're putting in a lot of work and a lot of effort. But as Craig Breen said, you have to remember to have fun, and I think it probably allows you that wee bit, to take the wee bit of time out whenever you're, from feeling the pressure. Somebody like Wally's there to relieve it, is there to make sure that things are done. That you don't have to be worried about, what spares or anything like that. There, you just know it's all sorted.
Yeah, well, you still have to enjoy it, and you can definitely rely on Willie now to keep things right. Or he always tries to be a step ahead of us. Now we might catch him out now and again, but he always does try to be ahead of us and to keep the whole thing right. So, but no, he's been a great help, and Sean as well. They're always on the ball, the two of them, and they're always thinking and trying to keep the two of us right. So there.
Mm-hmm. And that wouldn't be the easiest job to keep used to, boys, right?
At times it can be tough enough, so we can, but no, they're good.
It's quite an easy job, to be honest, but
somebody has to do it. And then, Eamonn, the final round of the JWRC coming up now, the Central European Rally. What's your thoughts or hopes ahead of it?
Yeah, well, I mean, at least we're still in the title fight. Central European is double points, so we're still waiting to see how the points table comes back and what actually needs to happen or how it needs to pan out. But yeah, obviously the goal is to go there and try and win the rally. There's no doubt about that. Whatever the championship situation is. So yeah, back on tarmac for the first time in a while, which is nice. I obviously love rallying on tarmac, and it's been more comfortable for me. But yeah, obviously haven't done the event, but I've done plenty of research, and it looks pretty good. Challenging with the weather and everything. It seems to be wet and slippy best of times, and yeah, can catch you out. So I've no doubt that for a final round it could lead to plenty of drama. So yeah, strong prep needed. Time to go and get some seat time on tarmac. It's been ages, especially in the Rally 3. So we'll look at options, which we're doing currently. There's plenty of options out in Eastern Europe. So we're just weighing them up to see what we can do and really give it one final push and just come out of it saying we could have done no more. But yeah, look, after an event like Finland, you know the speed's there, and you definitely know you can do it. I can't see any reason why we couldn't. So yeah, it's that's the mindset. Just go and get prepped. Usual prep. Go, believe in ourselves, and try and put a result together.
And Eamonn, like overall, it was a great weekend for the Motorsport Ireland Rally Academy as well. Yeah,
definitely. Josh got his best career performance to date, I think, and Aaron obviously was second overall. So that's or obviously I know Aaron's not in the academy, but he's a Motorsport Ireland member. But yeah, definitely it was fantastic, and obviously John was there competing himself, and that was fantastic to see. Like, you could tell he was really enjoying it, and I know things didn't work out the way planned, but it was amazing to see him out racing in Finland, which is obviously one of the fastest rallies in the world, and enjoying it. And yeah, sending the Rally 3 over jumps, it was class. But yeah, and himself and Sean were great company all weekend too, and great to have them there to witness the victory, which was fantastic. And yeah, it was great having them around the tent all weekend. They were great company, as I said. So yeah, it was a positive academy weekend, and it seems to be turning that way now. You know, there's been a lot of bad luck at the start of the year for everyone across the board, but the results seem to be coming in now, and long may it continue. Hopefully it's a strong second half of the year, and there's no reason why it shouldn't be. Everyone's putting in a lot of work.
So thanks very much there to Eamonn and Conor, and absolutely delighted for the two lads. You know, we have seen their progress the last couple of years, and it's great to see all the hard work coming together. Yep, so Dacia Sandero, odd choice for a rally car, but like the Challenge Cup this year has been really, really positive.
Look, we love a one make competition because it really does give a level playing field to everybody. And I suppose fairly quiet enough launch December last year. There wasn't a huge hype around it, and it's something that's caught on. It's become very interesting, very attractive, and it's certainly creating a bit of buzz around the service parks.
That's for sure. You know, and like we've been, everybody's been crying out about, rallying. Oh, it's not affordable anymore. This is as close to being, affordable for the ordinary man in the street.
Look, it's taking it back to proper clubman days. It genuinely is, like, to be able to go out and have a competitive car in your class for 15k. Like, there's not too many other motorsports could offer that.
Not for sure, that's for sure. So we caught up with some of the guys and girls behind the challenge.
Well, I'm afraid I can't take sole responsibility for it. It was a huge team effort, to be honest. Well, a small team effort in the end, but I suppose it all started during COVID, when nothing was happening in rallying. And I suppose there's never nothing happening on the Rallies Commission, but I was part of the Rallies Commission at the time. And I suppose one of the things that had been, every rally forum you went to, every rally meeting you went to around the country, one of the comments that always came up was, I can't afford to go rallying. What am I going to do for me? So it was, while things were quiet during COVID, the Rallies Commission asked for a number of us to form a subcommittee and go away and look at it and see what we could come up with. So initially there was myself and there was David Breen and Alton McGowan formed a subcommittee, and we started back, I think it was back in 21, probably around March, April time in 21. So I suppose the first thing we done was kind of the objective we'd been set was a new class or a new championship, whichever, that was affordable, that was fair, and that was fun. That was the three things that we were set. Now, two of those are very easy to do. The third one, the affordable one, was the one that was going to be the deal breaker. But anyway, we went away and we started by looking at what the other ASNs around Europe were doing. So, for instance, in Belgium, they were using the Suzuki Swift. In France, they were using the Clio. They had a Clio Cup, a kind of a bog standard Clio. And we looked at Spain, and just something kind of took my fancy with Spain because they were using the Dacia Sandero, not the typical car you'd expect to hear, associated with rallying. So we reached out to the Spanish Federation, and in fairness, they were very helpful. And they do it slightly different over there in that they have a private company that run the championship for them. That's not kind of what we wanted, because money, they want to make profit. They're a private company. We weren't doing it for money. We were doing it for the competitor and for the clubs. So, to be honest with you, most of the help that we got came from one of their competitors, the guy that won the championship that year, Hugo Rodriguez. He was very, very helpful in that he pinpointed the car that they used, why they used it, the pitfalls that they found with it. And it ticked all the boxes, for what we were trying to do. So it was a modern car. It was cheap and cheerful. And in his own words, they're bomb-proof. So it was a logical thing just to try them. So at the end of 22, Ulton and David finished up. So the Rallies Commission, I would have been finished probably as well, and the Rallies Commission asked me if I'd stay on and just see it through to the end. So we formed another sub-commission. So we had James Coleman, who was the chair of the commission at the time, who would be a competitor, would be a seasoned campaigner. So I brought him on board from a competitor point of view. We had Art McCarrick then, who I brought on from the office, from the rules side of things. And then we had Davy Ford, who came on from the technical and scrutiny side of things. So that was the group then that took it forward. So I suppose the first point of call was to try and get MI on board, because it wouldn't happen unless everybody, all the stakeholders were involved and bought into it. So thankfully, MI came on board, and I suppose we put a proposal together for them, what we were trying to do and what we needed in order to achieve it. So I suppose for the clubs, any Sandero that entered a rally was extra to the main field. And that was important because the Sanderos don't pay the full entry fee. We didn't want to penalise the clubs, where the clubs would be picking a main field over a Sandero. So MI made it possible that any Sandero, we can start up to 25 Sanderos in any event, and they are extra to the maximum main field. So that was the first win, I suppose, for us. And I suppose the second thing that they done was, because they were only paying 70% of the entry fee, MI agreed to give €100 back to the club off of their returns for every Sandero that's registered in the championship. So again, that kind of encouraged the clubs to buy into it as well. I suppose the other thing that MI allowed us to do was they allowed us to change the rules and to change the class structures so that we could fall in under the Triton National Rally Championship. They could take us under their wing, basically, and we would run as part of their championship. That was very important from us, because we didn't want the Dacias, I suppose, to be seen as, the poor cousin or the poor relation, that you were actually going to get something, you're going to get a bang for your buck, basically. So, the Dacia Championship then was run as part of that, and I suppose Carrie will talk more about that in a few minutes. So I suppose the next thing we had to do then was try and find a supplier that would give us a kit that would allow us to build the cars. Again, I suppose, like everything with motorsport and with Motorsport Ireland, safety is a big concern. So we didn't want to build a cheap car that wasn't safe, that didn't protect the crews and didn't protect the spectators standing on the ditches. So we put out a tender, and there was a couple of companies came back, but I suppose by far Murray's came back with the best tender. So I suppose credit has to go to Owen and Niall, because they bought into what we were trying to do from the very beginning. And you know, like when you look back on it, they really haven't made a whole pile out of this. Maybe down the road, as new young lads come in and they get used to buying their stuff from Murray's, maybe that's where they'll get their and I hope they do. But in fairness to the two boys, they put a kit together. They brought the top branded manufacturers and suppliers on board, like your Sparco and OMP, and you know, all of the main players in it. They made a kit, and then they bought a Sandero. They built the prototype car, and they made sure that everything fitted and everything worked. And again, that took a lot of the headaches out of the championship for us in the beginning. They also, I suppose, the other thing that Niall and Owen done was, because of their contacts in through the race side of things, they brought Yokohama on board as the control tire supplier for the championship, and they also came on board as an associate sponsor. So that's been very good for us as well. That again ties into our, you know, keeping things fair and keeping it affordable, because we wanted all the cars to be identical in order to be fair.
And Declan, do you mind me asking, like, you know, you had this idea and the Dacia, did you just approach Dacia Ireland, and were they receptive fairly quickly to the idea of this as well?
Yeah, so I suppose once we had the build sorted, we then moved on. I suppose James would have been very strong on this. He would have had experience of this from the old car championship and the Peugeot Cup that used to run before. And he would have known probably more than I would, that having the manufacturer involved is very, very important. It gives it gives you credit, it gives you credibility when you're trying to come out with a one-make championship. So we approached Dacia. We're really being run through Dacia UK, but in January, I think, of 24, Dacia Ireland was formed. And that was formed through Cedar Motors in Dublin. They were the distributor of Dacia in Ireland. So we approached them. Again, it was all new to them. And it took about maybe, 8-9 months of negotiations. But thankfully, Dacia agreed to come on board. And I suppose the game changer for us would have been when they put in Trevor Toner as their Chief Operations Officer, because Trevor is a petrol head, and Trevor would have rallied Twin Cam back in the day. So it's easier to talk to somebody who knows what you're talking about than trying to explain to somebody who knows nothing about rallying and can't really see what they would get out of it. Whereas it was very, very easy talking to Trevor. Trevor knew the sport, knew where we were going, knew why we were doing what we were doing, and could see the benefits of it. So that was the game changer for us, having Dacia come on board. I suppose the 100% buy-in to what we were doing with them is not only financial. If you said to me back in 24, what do you want from Dacia? We would probably have said, a few bob would be great, and the backing of Dacia. But it's been way, way more than that. Way more than we could have expected or looked for. Like talking about Trevor has been at every round of the championship so far, personally himself. They supplied a brand new Duster, and they done it out in the livery of the prototype car. That goes to each event, and it brings the inflatable arch that they supplied, it brings the teardrop flags, it brings the stickers, all the promotional gear. At each round, their local Dacia dealer comes and provides a static display of the road cars in the service area with the rally cars. It just, they've supplied to each registered crew. They've given them, the race suits. They're supplying the race suits, the Sparco race suits, the rally jackets, hats, pop-up 10 ground sheet. Each registered crew gets those free of charge from Dacia. So, that has been a game changer for us. Not alone did it give us credibility, but it's a professional setup. It's a professional outfit. And it definitely has added to it, So that's basically where Dacia came into it. And they're still 100% behind us, and they're coming up with novel little ideas every week. You get the phone call from Trevor. What would you think of this? Or we have Shane O'Donoghue, who's the editor of Complete Car, and he writes the automotive section in the Sunday Tribune. He's doing the ALMC in Murray's car. That was Trevor's idea. So, stuff like that, they're 100% on board with it, and it just makes it so much easier from our point of view.
Yeah. And Denis, maybe you could touch on, the build of these cars. You buy the road car and then you have to convert it and you get the kit from Murray's. Is there a lot involved there?
Well, you buy, like a road car, costs you between, depending on what the car you start with, between 1,000 maybe and 3,000 euros, depending on the year. Now, there's a limit for the year, and from 2013 to 2017, they're all 1149cc with the same engine code, same gearbox code, and this is where the consistency can stay, because when the cars are built, the cars are logbooked, everything's tagged, the engine, the gearbox, rocker cover, a camera's put up to make sure there's still a cat in the car, so it's all tagged, so it's a very level playing field, which is very hard to do. I remember one of your recent podcasts, you were saying about the new Skoda. It seems to be at the Yaris. Once again, the Yaris kind of, after Donegal this year, is kind of proving ground for cars. And the consistency of a Dacia is just, throughout the field, the cars are identical. So it is down to driver, navigator, and preparation of the car. The car starts as a road car. The kit comes from Murray's. It's on around €5,500 plus the VAT for the kit, and in that you get everything out of Murray's unit into your shed, and you start. If you fit everything Murray gave you correctly, the car will pass scrutiny, and it's ready for logbooking. So you have the cage to put in, a very good OMP cage. The amount of people who's commented, like, the cage is top class, so does. You've very good seats, belts, your fire reader, a mechanical fire reader, change the discs and pads to racing pads, suspensions change to Bilstein suspension. Most people put on a timing belt and a new clutch, just for reliability. The tyres, as Declan says, are Yokohama. They're all controlled. I swept in Donegal on the Sunday, and Matthew and I was adding up. We spent more on 4 tyres for sweeping on Sunday in Donegal and petrol than we have for the full year of the Dacia. So it's very cost effective. There's around 100 hours to build a car. Mm-hmm. Most cars, people are asking why are they all white. I suppose the Dacia, to get a metallic colour, the car when the car was new was 600 to 800 euros or pounds more. So I suppose for affordability, white was the start off colour. So that's why most of the cars are white. And with white, the car is very tidy looking. It's ready for any kind of graphics backing. It's a good starting point. Now, Oscar and a couple of boys of their cars done very, very well in different colours. So it doesn't limit you. Whereas when you open the cars, they're all identical inside, which is nice. And it's very hard to... Last year on the bowlers, and they were all the exact same build. So I've came from that to this. And I must say, like, what Declan and Carrie and Trevor and Davey Ford and Becky give to this championship's amazing. I was dealing with Land Rover last year, which is a multinational company to the motorsport side of it. And there was tens of people doing the job that these people are doing. And it's so effective. It's so fair. In the kit, there's a fuel sampling hose. So the scrutineers take sample of hoses, out of the hose for fuel to make sure you're allowed to pump fuel, that's it. The tyres are all marked so that you're allowed X amount of tyres per event. Now, I suppose this is getting down to the speed I'm going at. We done 4 rallies there and the same tyres. Now, I'm sure Oscar's going to do a bit more. I forget what you called Declan, that guy that won the championship. Julio, was it? The Spanish guy?
Oh, Hugo Rodriguez.
Well, Oscar's our Hugo Rodriguez. So that might be his new name. So the cars are very affordable. To get to the line, I would imagine even to pay somebody like for €15,000, you'd be suited, booted, your tent, your jacket, your hat, your car, and the car sitting on enough tyres to do at least half the year's championship. Mm-hmm. It's very professionally ran by Motorsport Ireland. Aidan Harper's input's very positive. Art McCarrick was instrumental in the first events there. He was there. I think he may actually be taking up the reins himself in one if it all comes to tonight. But as I say, it's great. Kevin Soda's a fair play to them all for. Now, rally is not cheap in any shape or form. It's not. It's an expensive sport. But for most of the cars, I think I'm right in saying, have a crew member who was very inexperienced or hadn't done a lot, or maybe nothing. In my own case, Matthew's 16, never navigated. By the time the championship's over, he'll have done 8 of the national rounds, which, providing I could round all the corners right, not the last 3. But the speed I'm going, I should get round them. But as I say, where else would you get a 16-year-old can do 8 rallies in 1 year and do the national championship? It's unheard of before. And from a navigator's point of view, of somebody inexperienced, it's so good because the cars, look, they're 75 brake horsepower, so everybody knows they're not fast, right? There's no point saying, but as I would always say to somebody, you try and be the fastest slow car out there, see how you get on. Mm-hmm. Like Jack Traynor, who drives very hard, you know yourself, the Mark II Escort was there, and some of the boys like Oscar and them were knocking on his door. You know, so just try and be the fastest slow car, see how you get on.
And as you say, it's an ideal proving ground. Yourself and Liam Doherty, Fruity, a lot of people in the rally world know, like you have decided, you know, you're bringing the next generation in through the sport now as well. And this is just an ideal proving ground. They're doing the national rallies, they're getting the experience and building the experience as well too.
Well, there's a lot more to navigating than just sitting on reading notes. There's time cards, there's what you can do in dead time, what you can't do, there's getting your timing right. You know, there's alterations of throughout the day of the road book, alterations to timing cards. And at this level, it's starting out, there's room for, I suppose, you're not at the high end, you're not on the ragged edge. So people can take time and explain things a lot easier to each other. Like Matthew would say, Aaron Johnson, who finished second yesterday, as you know, out in Finland. Aaron Johnson started navigating when he was 16. He's now 31. And yesterday was the second in WRC event. So, you know, there has to be a starting point for people. There's no point putting a 16-year-old into a very fast 11F car. Never mind something faster like an R4 car or up to an R5 car. Because the pace that car's going at, one mistake, and it's a very costly, both kind of for your own well-being, for finances, for everything. You know, so as I know Elva's done a lot of navigating previously. I think Oscar, you didn't drive an awful lot before this, and look where it's taking you. You know, the speed that you're going at in the car is unbelievable. So, and I think there's everybody's in the same level playing field, both in car and in thoughts. There's no big personalities. You know, it's good fun. And it's kept real at the level it's at. But I have to, like the likes of Declan there is just what and Carrie, what they do at every event's amazing. So does.
And Denis, you know, you're saying, look, this is a fantastic opportunity for entry level. But have you been surprised at some of the attention it's getting from seasoned competitors?
100%, because I know a lot of seasoned competitors, and they've come into the garage, and like James Cullen came in one day. That's the man that he getting one, Declan. And James is an awful lot done all over the British Isles and further afield. and him and Rory was on one day, and there was oh geez, the wee Dacia, and then they were looking through the car, and it's back to 1600 standard production escorts. You know, if you take 30 years ago, boys were out in the shed building their car with their family, with their friends. They were putting their car transporter, an old Peugeot 205 diesel van, and heading to a rally. And they were finishing the events. And it's not, I suppose, there can only be one winner, but everybody can have a good day. And if things go wrong, what's to do? It's not a massive bill to get going again. You know, like you could pull the side out of a Dacia and it wouldn't cost you the price of an R5 mirror. Never mind the doors. You know, but Kevin, you're very good with facts and figures and data. There's 5 rallies completed now, right? Mm-hmm. And at most rallies, there's around 10 cars. Mm-hmm. We've had 1 DNF out of 5 rallies. So that's 50 days rallying, if you like, and 1 DNF. And that wasn't down to mechanical. No. That was down to Oscar putting pressure on something. But the 2 rallies ago, I was a mile or 2 onto the stage, and I went off a cylinder. So I thought, right, bad lead, bad plug, whatever it was. Kept going to service, got to service, changed over stuff. It was neither. I thought, right, she's dropped the valve or chipped the valve or something. Into the car, and I said to Matthew, we're going to finish the rally. Now, we had a great race with the car accountability that day. That didn't matter. It was still a race. Always racing. As long as you're racing. And the car finished. Took the car home and went to pull the head off it and noticed one of the cylinders was very washed. It was a bad fuel injector, but the car still finished.
Yes.
You know, it cost me, I think it was €61 for a new injector. Stuck it in the car, washed the car, checked it over, and back down to the next rally. You know, so the reliability is there. Mm-hmm. So it is. That engine's been out for a long time, and so it's well proven. I'm surprised. The engines, everybody's saying, "Oh, geez, they can often rev and stuff," but the gearbox, I'm surprised the gearbox are holding up. Like after 50 days rallying, and nobody to suffer a gearbox or lose a gear, because people are carrying speed and downshifting and stuff, and it's just a standard road gearbox in the car. So for take that abuse as some going, so does. Again, I'm not abusing it.
and Carrie, from a championship perspective, how much of a value add is it having the Dacia part of the Triton?
Oh, it's amazing to be part of it, Conor, to be fair. Like even Denis there touched on for the newer navigators coming in, like the likes of Matthew and Leah, that have never taken part in any events previously. Like they get to do 8 rallies this year, all part of the national championship. If they continue in next year, there's another 8 rounds of different rallies. So over the space of 2 years, they will have nearly every rally in the country done and taken part in at that point in time, which is a great experience for them. If they do decide in future years to say bye-bye to the parents and move on to bigger and better things. Not that we let them go that easy from the championship, to be fair. But like it's amazing to be back with it. We've had huge help in the background from Laura and the other Declan. The other Declan, as I call him, Declan Thompson. They've been a huge help to me because becoming registrar for this championship was all new to me. So I kind of tiptoed off Laura for advice and bits and pieces throughout the year to kind of follow her around a little bit. But then with part of the Triton, we also get to be part of the YouTube episodes that they have after each event, which then publicises the championship all that more, gives great publicity to our crews that are registered and their sponsors. Because at the end of the day, if the sponsors aren't happy, you don't get it again. So it has been a huge help to us in that fact to be able to piggyback off it.
Yeah, and then also, if you're getting the YouTube coverage, you're getting the sponsors is happy, Dacia is happy, and that then will then encourage them to sponsors, Dacia, everybody else to get more involved next year. And it's like a wheel. Once it starts gathering speed, it just keeps gathering and gathering.
And that's it. Like, this is like a snowball that's taken off down the hill this year. I think, like, at the start of the year when we started all this, Declan, you'll probably agree with this. We probably thought, you know what, if we get 8 or 9 cars going for the year, we'll be doing well.
I just said 5.
I'd be a little bit more.
Glass is half full rather than half empty.
Oh God, yeah. I was waiting for someone to fill it up. But like, we have 16 drivers registered. We have 18 navigators registered. We've had a minimum or 10 cars. Minimum 7 is what we had in any round. But like, it's always kind of averaging around the 10 cars out in each round, which is amazing for the first year of any championship to have that involvement, and especially in this one type production car championship. And the backing we've had and the interest we've had, and a lot of that also comes down to the competitors themselves, because the way they push it in the background in social media, like, there hasn't been an event where Oscar and Elva haven't popped something up on Instagram the recce day or during the day and the evening after and a couple of days after. And Denis and the crew have so much stuff put up on social media about it as well. So it's getting great traction in that way, which is fantastic.
And like, Oscar, from your point of view, you know, this has allowed you to compete more regularly. You know, you were competing, but like sporadically, maybe I think would be fair to say. And like, how do you find that the benefit of this challenge is for you?
Yeah, I think it's a whole new ball game for me. Like, I did a tiny bit of karting for about 2 years back when I was just at the end of secondary school, and then for about 4 or 5 years just kind of didn't do any motorsport. And I was really itching for years and years to get into something, and I did a racing school day over in England last year, and it kind of spurred me on. And just around that week or a week or two later, this was announced. So I went to my parents and said, like, you know, this is the class, this is the car. They've done this in Spain for a couple of years, and just we couldn't get over it. I remember we went to Murray's and went through like the list of stuff that was in the kit, and we couldn't believe how much was in it for the price. And then we were looking at how much the cars cost, mostly on Auto Trader or up the north, and you could for the price that you could go all in. It was cheaper than anything else by a long shot. Even like I've a few mates who are still doing karting, and like they're, you know, the level of a budget for 1 year of karting is like probably triple or 4 times the cost of this. And like, you know, at the end of the day, it's only a wee go-kart. So you get a huge amount of seat time. It's a whole new discipline. I think it's a really good car for getting into it, like, or for starting off. Like, I've talked to a few drivers who are racing in class 13 or 12 and Rally 4 and stuff, and they're saying, you know, when you've a car with that low power, you have to drive the door handles off it. So once they're kind of wound up and you're like, you know, when you're actually up to speed in 3rd and 4th gear, like, you know, you're pushing flat out where other cars are either lifting or going on the brakes, because they have the power to get back on it and kind of reset. So when it really teaches you about keeping your momentum and kind of extracting all the speed out of the car. And the guys have been fantastic in getting the championship set up. Like, I think it's unbelievable the support that Carrie and Declan and David and everyone involved, like Dacia especially, have brought into it. It's next level. So yeah, it's been brilliant so far.
And Elva, from your point of view, like, you know, the way the manufacturers have rolled in behind this, the way the local garages have rolled in behind this, like, this has taken it to a whole new level.
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It's a great opportunity, like, for people to get involved. And for me now, I was off rallying for 20 years, and it's a lovely introduction back into it. Like, I did intend to come back rallying. I thought I might go back into historics or something, but this is, you know, and it feels so fast. Having not rallied for so long, I couldn't get over how fast it felt. You know, so it's very enjoyable. It's great crack. It's brilliant to be sitting with Oscar, like, he's my nephew. And, you know, it's great to get to know him, and we're quite similar. I think in our on the rally day, we'd both be quiet, and I know exactly how he's thinking or what he's, you know, it's lovely to be sitting with somebody that you're very familiar with like that. So it's been great crack. Brilliant.
Mm-hmm. Because, like, you know, even the guys running number 1 and number 2, they haven't manufactured back, and, you know, if that's, you know, Callum Devine or Eddie Dougherty. Like, Skoda's not sponsoring them, but you have the might of Dacia Ireland and UK behind you as well too, which is quite a cool thing to say.
Yeah, it's lovely. It's a lovely it's a lovely. All the teams are pulling in together, and to have the support there of Dacia and the arch, it makes a bit of buzz about the place, and you can see people they might know about it, but they're curious what's going on over here, and it's a nice little family of teams there. We're working well together, and even though we're competing, and it's lovely to have that support. And Declan and Carrie, they're always there to help out or direct us out of service when rally is together and when we're supposed to get going, and that it's like a little family nearly.
And Carrie, I suppose that was a big part of it too, was having the service area all together, that everybody wasn't scattered all over the place, having that communal area as such.
Huge, because like Declan touched on earlier on, when Trevor brings down the duster, like all our paraphernalia's in the back of us, so we bring out the arch and we bring out the teardrop flags, and we're running around looking for one of them with a compressor going, who's going to blow this up and who's going to do this, and everybody rows in. And as Elva said there, like, we put up the arch, we keep all the cars together, we keep all the crews together, and you walk past and it will catch your eye because you'll notice the arch, and then next thing you'll see a row of tents all identical, and like little bodies of suits all identical running around the place. So it does catch eye when people start kind of going, what's going on here? And we'll go in and we'll have a peek, and they'll start asking questions, and I'm always roaming around going, are you okay for this, and are you okay for that, and don't forget now we're going to be out this time roughly. So yeah, but like, to be fair, you can see it in all the crews, they're all checking in on each other, they're all making sure, like, if anyone is having any issues or whatever, they're all over anything we can do, anything I can do. Like, sometimes if we had an issue where we were tight in space or anything, like, oh look, you pull in under our tent and we'll tighten up here. And so it's great. They are like a little family. And I think that's the nice part about the championship being new and starting off so small, is everybody has gotten to know each other so well.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Like, everybody's...
Yeah, like the first week we went, we didn't know anyone. And Denis and Matthew were the first we got chatting to the first morning in Longford. And before you know it, then you know everyone. You know. And I think the suits are lovely. I think it's so smart. Like, when you take those group photos, and it's very striking, and they're lovely suits. They're lovely design. They're even flattering on the women.
Do you want to try it? They're not too flattering the men now.
But no, I'm still taking the cardboard one here.
And Elva, you were saying, it's very much that sort of family community feel to it. Like, as a seasoned, competitor, do you find some of the younger, less experienced co-drivers are coming up to you for advice, for get a bit of your knowledge?
Well, no, they're not now. I did say to Matthew and Leah if they needed any help with the time cards or anything, because sometimes they can be a bit bamboozling. But no, they seem to be getting along great. Like, they're flying.
They do, to be fair. I remember going to Leah as well at one of the first rallies, and kind of running through it, and she was like, she had it off to a T. And I said, Matthew, they pick it up quicker than...
Yeah. And while the field is very competitive, everybody's really friendly and helpful, and it's smashing. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
And like, Oscar, from your point of view, like, the pace that you're going at, like, is it a very comfortable pace? Do you feel that the car's on the limit, or do you feel comfortable in the car? I suppose maybe that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I think when we were building the car and the Murray's lads were testing it, and you'd be chatting to them, they were saying that they brought a Mondello and they were kind of shocked at how good it handles. Like, they whipped it a fair lot of laps in it, and they said it actually, like, the way it turns in and sticks to the road. And like, for instance, there in Ravensrock and Sligo, like, two different kind of days. Like, one was very hot in Ravensrock, and then Sligo was much more kind of mixed weather. Like, the car held the road fine both times. Like, the tires are grippy, they last for ages. Like, I know Denis was saying he's still on the same set, and we're the same. And like, I don't see any need at the moment to switch over. Like, they get into a good temperature range, and it'll just continue to grip the entire time. And like, you can use the weight transfer of the car. There's no anti-roll bar, but you're still using the weight transfer to turn the car in and flick it around and things like that. So like, it it's a brilliant car for learning and getting up to speed and things, and really trying to get the edge out of it. And I think especially people are surprised when I've shown onboards and stuff like that. They're actually shocked at how quick it is actually. You are actually going, especially if you're going like, you know, Ravens Rock on the third stage, like you're going downhill for the last kind of 6 or 7 kilometers, and you're really, really on the limit. Like the car is bouncing across the road, the tires are roaring and stuff like that, and people are shocked. It's just getting there. It's a bit longer, but once you're up there, you are really attacking it.
And then it's like, maybe it's just because I've been thinking about this for the last few days, but the amount of Dacia Sanderos is on the road, like there, you know, there is a lot of donor cars out there.
Well, I think I could be wrong on this, but I think the Sanderos, for a good few years, was the #1 selling car in Europe,
right?
And its class.
Mm-hmm.
There's an awful lot of donor cars. I say the regs is very. What I done was building the car. The first car we done. We printed out the regs, put it into a folder, and myself and Colin built the car, Matthew, and we went through the regs just to keep on top of it. But it's so simple. Like it's if you're into cars and into rallying, and you take it up, the building the car is part of the whole journey. You know, like for somebody to build a car themselves, we all can go out and buy a car, but we've 3 cars built now, and we've 3 more donor cars there getting built. There's one about in Clare. So there's 3 more cars coming on next year that we know of, and I'm sure there'll be an awful lot more. Donor cars are there. But what I would say to somebody is buy a good car. Don't buy the cheapest car, because you want that reliability. You don't want a car, and most unreliability comes from people kind of doing substandard repairs before you buy the car. So buy something that's good. Buy about a low miles, because it'll stand it over the year of racing. But again, I can't, like Dacia. You know yourself, Kevin, many manufacturers. Or many cars around in Ireland of different manufacturers, from your Skodas all the way through your Hondas. Yeah. And I think since the Peugeot Cup, there's been no manufacturer got behind rallying. So like hats off to Trevor and the group at Dacia Ireland for getting behind it. And they're the lower end of the field. Whereas if you ask any manufacturer, oh, we want to be winning, we want to be #1, we want to be #2, we want to be in the podium. Like they've took it on board as what it is. And they've really pushed it. Like the suits that Dacia supply in the tents, there'd be no change out of €3,000.
No.
You know, so it's a great way to start. So I can't compliment it enough. As last year on the Bowler through JLR, and it's a multinational company, and what Declan, Carrie, and Motorsport and Trevor from Dacia has pulled off, replicas it very, very well. So it does, and a great choice of cars. Obviously there's other cars out there you'd mentioned, Declan, the Clio and different stuff like that, but I think your choice was great, and it's a great stepping stone for people starting out, and if people take it at that. But as I say, anybody who wants to have a go at it, there's plenty of cars, there's plenty of kits, there's plenty of registrations for next year, I'm sure, or even Clare, and you're guaranteed up to 25 cars. You know what it's like, Declan, or Kevin,
trying to get entry,
and Donegal getting entries and stuff like that. It's just like people's mental health suffer the weeks up before, worrying, and you know, so
like candles and everything else.
You know yourself at the press launch. You'd organised the press the launch this year, and once that bit of paper goes to the floor, there's silence, and there's tutting and there's relief. Whereas you're up to 25 cars. You do 2/3 of the rally, but you only pay 2/3 of the price. You have the morning to get ready, and your nerves are gone by the time you get to, because you're sitting about in the morning, which is great, and it gives you time to socialise and chat about and try and get tips off Oscar and the Doyles and the Dohertys, and you've all morning kept to make up excuses of why you didn't go that fast.
And then Oscar, like even from your point of view too, like you have the best suit, you have a really good cage around you, you have Yokohama tires below you, you have all the quality products there as well too.
Yeah, everything's like it's top manufacturer, top quality stuff. Like there's nothing substandard or cheap put into the cars. Like the quality of the suits is is unbelievable. The same with the kit itself. Everyone, like, nearly the biggest shock or compliments that we get off like crews in upper and higher classes is they can't get over how good the cage is.
Yeah.
And how much equipment is inside the car. Like they're constantly just saying, like, down in Kerry we were chatting to lads, and they were, I think one of the lads had just built a new Class 13 Escort, and he had a few of his mates over looking at the car, and they just looked at it and they went, lads, this is the way to go rallying. Like, they couldn't get over how like top class the cars all looked inside, and everyone has prepared them. And when we went to Midland, or when a new car shows up, everyone wanders over to see, like, oh, what have they done? Have they done something a bit cleaner, a bit tidier, and things like that? So we're always like trying to learn different bits about how to prepare them, or you might go off and tidy something up then later on. And the support from Yokohama and Sparco with the suits and the tires has been a huge bonus to the championship. I think it just makes everything seem much more professional and very prestigious, and really just like a proper works spec championship.
And Declan, I suppose, like, starting to wrap things up, like, how successful the championship has been in year one. Like, I suppose it's like a band producing an album. The first album, they've been working on it for years, but it's the follow-up to it. How do you keep this moving forward? And, is there things you can do to keep it fresh?
Well, I suppose from my point of view, we just need to keep doing what we're doing. That's now, as I said to you when we were talking earlier, from probably November 24 up to March 25 was absolutely manic, trying to get the suits sorted, trying to get everything ready for the first round in Longford. Probably from here on, the fact that the championship is up and running, and it's running reasonably smoothly, and that's in no small part to the teams that are taking part, because they all work with you. So yeah, I mean, there's a few little things we want to tweak. There's a few things we tweaked already this year. Would you believe it? One of the main complaints we got from marshals and from even some of the competitors was that the car was too quiet. So to give you an idea of the way we work, it's a case of like the old Ford saying you can have any color you want as long as it's black, and we have to kind of run to those kind of specs because we want all the cars identical. So the kind of I suppose the mindset that we have had from the start is, if there's something wrong, if a number of the competitors come and say, right, they said the cars were too quiet, it's a safety issue, but then you have to do something about it. And we do. So what we done was, we started at the very basic, we cut the back box off it. And then we welded a piece of pipe on, and one of the competitors actually made it, and they have an engineering company. They molded it to the same shape of the original pipe, used the original mounting places, and that's what we've done. And we got an extra 10 decibels out of it. Everyone can hear us coming. And I suppose the biggest thing for the competitors was, with the helmet on and with the balaclava and everything, they couldn't hear when the car was reaching maximum revs, whereas now they can. So, like, we try and involve, I suppose where I'm coming from here is we try and involve everybody in it. If one person just comes up with a thing and nobody else has a problem with it, well, then it's not a problem as far as I'm concerned. If everybody has a problem with it, or if everybody agrees to the solution, well, then that's what we do. And I think that's fair. It's bringing the fair into it. That's just one example of it. What we'll do for next year, I'd like to see another probably 10 or 15 cars for next year. I hope Dacia don't mind another 10 or 15, because they'll be writing the checks. But anyway, so far so good. It would be nice to have a little bit of competition, I think, for entries. The fact that you're guaranteed an entry isn't necessarily a good thing from a championship point of view. Definitely not from a club point of view, because we've noticed that the entries going in has become a little bit slower, and lads are leaving until the last minute. And if clubs ringing you, I've only 2 Dacia entries. Where's the rest of them? So, yeah, it would probably be nice from a championship point of view to have a little bit of, there's always going to be an event where somebody has a wedding or a funeral, or they're away on holidays or whatever, and they can't do it. So it would be nice to have someone that can slot in. Mm-hmm. But look, at the end of the day, I think we've achieved a lot in the first year. All joking aside, I don't plan on changing things too much. Maybe there's a few things we can tweak on the cars. We're looking at maybe changing a brake disc on the front. We'll look at that, and if everybody's in agreement with it, we'll do it. If not, we won't. It's running away smoothly. I have a fantastic team with me. Carrie and Davy Ford and Becky and Art and and James. Like, they're 100% invested in this, the same as I am. And we've put kind of 4 years of our lives on hold. The wife often says to me, are you doing the Dacia thing next year? And I know the reason why she's asking isn't that she's worried about the Dacia side of it. But anyway.
She's her middle name changed to Dacia somehow.
You must have phoned my wife too, Dad.
But look, it's like everything to do with motorsport. It's a family. The family are involved. It's not just the competitor or the official or the marshal. The family are involved in it. It's a family sport. But so that would be the main thing, would be just to get an extra 10 or 15 cars into it.
Female crew into it.
Yes, I'd love to see the first full female crew. It's lovely to see Elva and Leah flying the flag for the girls, for the ladies. We would love to see a female crew. Look, it could happen. We'll do our best to make sure it does happen. I suppose, like, if you'd said to me, back in 23 or 24, who do you think you're going to get to do this championship? I would have said young lads who can't afford, to buy a 40,000 euro Honda Civic. But we have young lads like Denis and Anthony. we have young lads like Oscar and Killian. Do you know what I mean? Who've come from different backgrounds. And the reasons, I think the most interesting thing for me in the championship was the reasons why, I remember speaking to Denis on the first round, and Denis taught me, and I hope Denis doesn't mind me delaying this, but what Denis said to me was, he thought it would be a great way of getting Matthew into the sport and him being able to teach him the right way to do it as opposed to the wrong way to do it. And I mean that, I don't mean disrespect to anybody else, but as you know, when you're young, you've blinkers on and you have an end in sight, and how you get there may not necessarily be the right way to get there or the most effective way to get there. So when you have somebody of Denis's experience tutoring somebody of Matthew's age, and the same with Liam Doherty and Leah, they're learning from experienced campaigners. They're learning the right way to go about the sport, and they are our rally competitors of tomorrow. And I think that's what the class. We've achieved everything. I think we've ticked all the boxes. Where we go from here, I hope it's more of the same. Thankfully, Dacia are on board with us for 3 years and possibly 5 years, which is a big help. And if we keep getting the standard and the caliber of competitor that we have this year, there won't be any stopping us.
Huge thank you there to Declan, Carrie, Denis, Elva and Oscar. And again, I suppose a huge thank you to Dacia for putting the commitment into this. Like, Irish rallying, it's in a great place, but we need every initiative going to really boost and get it as popular as possible and to bring it home to and make it as easy for as many people to compete as possible. So look, fantastic initiative. Would love to see more of them. Any other car companies out there want to get on board, please do. So that's it for another episode of Krunching Gears. Thanks for joining us, and please like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you soon.
That's the proudest day and the proudest time on the Secto Rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the butt between my teeth. I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all we said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.